Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it aqua tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess. What's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine. From pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing today? Victory Monday! Victory Monday. Another victory by the Miami Dolphins. You gotta love it, right? You gotta love it. Victory Monday, the best kind of Mondays. It's always great when the Miami Dolphins win on Sunday. The third straight victory. Four out of the last five we've won. We're gonna get into this game. It was an ugly win. But a win is a win, right? It does keep the playoff hopes alive, no matter how challenging it will be to get into the playoffs. It still keeps our hopes alive. We're still mathematically in there. We're still in there. We still can make it. But it is going to be a long shot. Don't get your hopes up too much. But we won. We got another victory. We got a victory. You know, it makes you look back at the beginning of the season and be like, if we could have just kept that lead against Carolina, if we could have, beat the Cleveland Browns like we were supposed to. But it is what it is. We are where we are. And man, we got a lot to talk about, but let's get into the greetings. Good morning to all you beautiful people. Only the real survive. What up? Miller, good morning. Bonnie, good morning. All right, let's see. Anyone who still thinks the Tua can win in this league needs their eyes examined. I mean, he won yesterday. I mean, he struggled. Tua did struggle yesterday, but I mean, he won yesterday. So that's kind of you have to open the staying job. Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers should get reps with the ones. That's not going to happen, Miller. They're still fighting for a playoff spot. And no matter how much you think that, they're not going to give up on the season. When they're still, maybe when they get mathematically eliminated, if that time comes, maybe you see Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson. But let's be real. Neither one of those quarterbacks are the answer. Neither one of those quarterbacks are the answer in real life. And the fact of the matter is, with Tua's huge contract, there's a good chance that Tua's the quarterback here next year. Now, Tua has regressed. There's nobody that can tell me he hasn't. The guy, he's not going to throw for 4,000 yards this year. He leads the league in interceptions. The guy has regressed. He has not been as sharp. Tua has had games where he's not super accurate, but usually for the most part, Tua is on point with his passes. And he's had so many games this season where he just has been off. Something hasn't looked right. And yesterday was another prime example of that. Yesterday was another prime example of Tua just looking off. Replacing Tua isn't giving up on yes, it is. Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers are not a better option at quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. But not even question. It's not even a question. Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers are not going to do a better job than Tua Tagovailoa. Yes, Tua did not have a great game yesterday. He did not. He had a bad game, a poor game. But you can't tell me that Zach Wilson's going to come into and look better. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. You have nothing to support those claims. Tua did look bad yesterday. I mean, Tua hit some passes. Tua, there was passes yesterday where you were like, yeah, that's the Tua. And then there was mind-numbing throws where you're like, damn, what are you doing, bro? Like, where's the accuracy? Where's the accuracy? That's his superpower, right? That's where he makes up for his lack of athleticism. The fact that he can't run and take a hit. The fact that he has great accuracy, that he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in all of football. And when he doesn't have that, he is a bad quarterback. But Zach Wilson's a bad quarterback regardless. Marcos, you had a big win yesterday. You guys cost me some more money. The Carolina Panthers knocking off the Rams. Man, oh man, oh man. I I was on Hardcore Sports yesterday morning, and I said, the Rams look like they're the most consistent team. They're the one team that I feel like I would feel confident in saying that they'd be in the final two or three teams in the NFC to make the Super Bowl, and then they come out and just get beat by the Rams. But we're gonna break down the game. Again, this game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Miami should have had a bigger lead going into halftime. And then in the second half, they came out really flat, not scoring points. The refs tried to give it to the Saints at the end. That onside kick, I don't know what the ref was looking at. If the ball hits somebody, it's going to change the trajectory of the ball. The ball's not going to keep moving in the same direction with the same spin if it hits somebody. The ball clearly kept moving in the same direction with the same spin, yet they say it bounced off our player's leg. I couldn't believe that they made that call yesterday. I could not believe it. I could not believe they made that call. They almost gave that game away. Man, that was a bad call. Bad call. Marco said, "What I tell you, Big C, stop sleeping on the Panthers." I got to take my hat off to him. You got to start. You got to really start. You got to respect the Panthers at this point. You got to. You got to respect the Panthers at this point. But yeah, the Miami Dolphins defeated the New Orleans Saints 21-17 at Hard Rock Stadium for the third consecutive win and fourth victory in the last five. Miami relied on, the MVP of this team, in my opinion, Devon ACHANE yesterday. A milestone day for him. First time reaching 1,000 yards. That was great. The defense played good. They swarmed the young quarterback. They had 4 sacks, 3 takeaways, including a clutch pick 2 by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah had a huge game yesterday. He intercepted the 2-point conversion, ran that back to the house, got 2 points, which ended up being crucial because they recovered the onside kick. He had a sack fumble yesterday to go along with 7 tackles. Fitzpatrick had his best day as a Dolphin yesterday when we needed it the most. Great game by him. Miami's wasted no time in this one. They received the opening kickoff. ACHANE takes it in for a touchdown run. He's just been phenomenal. Where do you rank him right now? I want to ask this to the chat. Where do you rank him as far as running? Where is he ranked among the elite running backs in the NFL? Is he a top 5? You top 10? Where do you guys got Devon ACHANE ranked right now? He's been absolutely phenomenal for us, and this is with a makeshift offensive line. I did notice the Miami Dolphins. We had Austin Jackson back yesterday, Darren Waller back yesterday. I noticed that the Miami Dolphins ran to that right side an awful lot behind Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson had a good game. He had a fairly good game, right? The Miami Dolphins, they put on a dominant performance, especially in the first half, giving up no points. Rasul Douglas had an interception. Just Chop Robinson finally showed up. That was a great thing to see. He had a sack and a half. Zach Wilson would have made a statement yesterday. Come on, stop it. Nothing Zach Wilson's ever done in this league makes you think that he's going to be a productive quarterback. Nothing. He wasn't even practicing good enough to think that he lost the backup job to Quinn Ewers at one point. Like, come on. Stop with the nonsense. It's all right not to be a Tua fan and to criticize Tua and his play. Absolutely. But you don't got to put these bums on a pedestal to make your point. I'm not saying Tua's not done. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Zach Wilson is not the answer. Zach Wilson's not the answer. Tua still gives this team the best chance to win, whether you think this offense is made for Tua. It's made for Tua. It just is. Zach Wilson's done nothing his whole career. Yes, Tua's not playing good football right now, but Tua's bad game yesterday is that had been one of Zach Wilson's best games ever. Look it up, Miller. Look at Tua's stats yesterday compared to Zach Wilson's best stats. Zach Wilson's top 5 games of his career. He is a worse option than Tua. He absolutely is a worse option than Tua. I don't want to get into this because I don't want to make it sound. Mic sounds off. Let me see. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, yeah. Hello, hello. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Listen, I don't want to turn this into a Tua thing. You know my feelings about Tua. I think that we need to replace Tua. I don't know what this team's gonna do moving forward with Tua Tagovailoa. They owe him a lot of money. I think at this point, it's up in the air the possibilities of what this team can do. Now you can move on from Tua and Mike McDaniel at the end of this year, and I think you end up having a really bad year next year. Because I don't think a rookie coming in, I don't think any free agent that you're going to bring in at quarterback. You act like Zach Wilson is a complete net negative when he's had real moments, just as good as Tua is. Where? What? Miller, give me a break. Where are these moments? Show me these games. Show me the games that Zach Wilson's been just as good as Tua Tagovailoa. Hey, you're full of it right now. You're blowing smoke up. You know what I mean? You telling me Zach Wilson's had just as good as moments as Tyreek or Tua Tagovailoa has. You're full of it. Jets first Chiefs. That's how you know he hasn't had a bunch of great moments if you can name a singular game. So name more than one game. Name more than one game. Name a second game. Again, I'm all for getting a new quarterback. I think Tua has regressed. He turns the ball over. He doesn't have the accuracy that he has had in past years. Except Tua has shown that he can be productive on the field. Zach Wilson hasn't done that. Stop, Miller. Stop. Zach Wilson's not the answer. He's not the answer. I doubt Zach Wilson's even on this team next year. But the Miami Dolphins, we needed to be more aggressive. Some more issues with the play calling, time management yesterday. I was not happy at the end of the half. We got a turnover. Mike McDaniel was not aggressive enough for me. We had some time on the clock. We could have spiked the ball and took a couple more opportunities, I think, to make some throws and try to get towards the end zone. Instead, he allows Riley Patterson to kick the field goal. I wasted like 20-some seconds off the clock. I thought that was a mistake. I think you try to take advantage of every moment that you have the football. Every second that you have the football, you don't know when you're going to need the extra points. You never know when you're going to need the extra points. I was not a fan of what we did with the ball at the end of the half. Play calling, 4th and 1, Ollie Gordon. He goes to run it up the middle. There's nothing there. He tries to break it outside. That was a mistake. Again, I don't know why you're not giving the ball to ACHANE more. I would, get ACHANE outside the numbers. ACHANE showing that he's ripping off 8-9 yard runs. Why, running it up the middle straight ahead that's not the bread and butter of the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are not a power offensive line. They're not going to move people like that. Their bread and butter is that They're athletic, smaller offensive linemen. You get them in space. That's when the Miami Dolphins offensive line's at its best. I feel like if you did a pitch out the ACHANE there, you probably get the first down. McDaniel clearly lost faith in Tua yesterday. I mean, he's got to be questioning. He's got to be questioning because he's seeing Tua, put together these games that Tua hasn't been very good. Typically, Tua has a bad game. He comes back and looks pretty decent. That hasn't been the case this year. He hasn't been good this year. Zach Wilson's not the answer, brother. Like I'm not gonna continue the feed into it. Grandizer, what up? What up? What up? Victory Monday fan, but what is with our team playing down to the competition? Why McDaniel tried to overthink this? That's a good question. That's a good question. Continue to give the ball the ACHANE. ACHANE had 22 carries, 134 yards on the ground. The dude is an animal. He's clearly our best player. I thought we should have tried to get the ball to Waller a bit more. I don't think we got the ball to Waddle enough yesterday. Damn. I feel like we should have tried to get the ball to Waller more. I do like our backup tight end Dolich. He had a great catch yesterday. He's a great number 2 option. I don't think he's a number 1 option, but a damn good number 2 option. A damn good number 2 option. Key players from yesterday's game. You got to give a game ball to Riley Patterson. Riley Patterson had a great game. He had a great game a couple weeks ago. He was 4 for 4 on field goal attempts. Just a great job. I feel like he's done enough to take Jason Sanders' job at this point. Listen, Jason Sanders has made some big kicks for the Miami Dolphins. I'm a fan of Jason Sanders, but at this point, Riley Patterson's the cheaper option. I think Riley Patterson has maybe done enough to steal that job. Another game ball's got to go to Devon Achane. Devon Achane, like I said, 22 carries, 134 yards on the ground. I kind of feel like it's cheating to add him and give him a game ball and say he's one of the best players because he is clearly our best player. The former Texas A&M Aggie, this was his 3rd straight 100-yard game. He bypassed the 1,000-yard mark for the first time in his career. I want to say he's 3rd in the league in rushing. Just a great performance by Devon Achane. And then I got to give my boy Chop Robinson some credit. He came into this game with 1 sack on the season. He doubled that. He got a sack and a half yesterday. This is a guy that really needed to be. He really needed a good game, right? He really needed a good game. He had multiple quarterback hits. I want to say 3 quarterback hits plus a sack and a half. A positive move in the right direction for Chop Robinson yesterday. And then, of course, Fitzpatrick, 7 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, and a pick 2 that he ran back to the house. Crucial points. Crucial points. Tua did have one interception. He right after Rasul Douglas picked the ball off, couldn't quite get the pick six. It was close. Tua goes deep. It's picked off. Not the greatest of throws. He had other options open on that play that he could have very easily completed the pass and kept us moving in the right direction. I wouldn't say it was a horrible pass, though. Maybe you can say it was a bad decision, but I mean, I would like to have seen us get points there. Points there would have been critical. It would have put them down big. But I'm not super mad at that interception. It's not like he didn't see a defender or this, that, and the third. It wasn't a horrible throw. He had some bad throws yesterday. But again, as bad as you said he was yesterday, what throws did he make that really cost his football team? He had a couple throws that were behind players. He had a couple throws that were behind players that, they could have caught the ball easier if he would have put it on the money. But I think the Julian Hill ball, that was catchable. The Julian Hill ball that was behind him, that was catchable still. I mean, you act like the guy had 4 interceptions, and he absolutely held on to the ball too long yesterday. He needs to get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. Throw the ball away sometimes. I think he has opportunity to throw the ball away and doesn't, holds on to it far too long, and that irritates the shit out of me. Get rid of the ball. Throw the ball away. You don't always have to take the sack. The defense has been better. This defense has been better. It's making me feel really good. Miller says ACHANE is 4th. It goes JT, James Cook, Gibbs, then ACHANE. Now, obviously, those are the guys that are having the best years, right? But are you going to say, is ACHANE truly the 4th best running back in the NFL? Only the real survive. Which throw was such a bad decision, though? I don't feel like that deep pass was like it, I don't feel like it was just crazy bad. The pass was off a bit. We don't have a big body receiver to go up and get those type of jump balls. I just don't feel like it was that bad of a play. I mean, what 3 interceptions should he have had? Show them to me. I mean, there was one play that I felt like it could have been an interception. They reviewed it. They ended up saying it wasn't a pick, which I agree with. I'll give you that one. The deep ball, that's 2, I guess, but 2 interceptions at the max. Yeah, but I did bring it up. Only the real survive. I did. But I don't feel like the only reason I say it was a bad decision is because there was other options open. But I'm not mad at that, taking a deep shot. First off, you got to keep the defense honest, right? You got to keep the defense honest. So I'm not pissed that he took that deep shot. Yeah, would I have liked to seen him get the ball to someone that was open underneath and us capitalize with points? Yeah, I hate to see interceptions. I do. But I'm not completely upset with that deep throw that was intercepted. It sucks that it came right after a turnover. We got the turnover. We want to make that turnover worthwhile. So it would have been nice to get some points off it. But like I said, I'm not super disappointed. Tua was off yesterday. You know, I feel like that should have been a touchdown to Waller in the back of the end zone. I felt like Waller did a bad job and didn't know where he was in the back of the end zone to get his feet down. Now that pass could have been better too. It could have been, but Tua did have to loft that one, floated in there a little bit, and Waller just lost track of where he was on the field. So that was another option that was another chance for a touchdown that, you know, Tua could have threw for. That wasn't a pick, Miller. That back of that ball touched the ground. Again, Tua didn't have his best game, but I wouldn't say he didn't play bad enough for us to win or to lose the game. Let me rephrase that. He didn't play bad enough for us to lose that game. What's up, brother?
Hello.
What's up?
Can you hear? Oh, what's up? What's up? So, like I was saying, I would rather him make a bad throw than a bad decision. A bad throw can be corrected, but bad decisions is hard to correct. That's what I was pointing out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. You know, I feel like he could have made a better decision on that play. I do.
And every time we talk about Tua, it's always the bad decisions. The last we ain't even gonna go 6 years into it. We're gonna go to the last 2 years. The last 2 years that we've been harping on Tua, it's been bad decisions, and it's really not even decision. It's just that he's always going according to the play when the play is not there. So therefore, it seems like he's incapable of moving off of his first read, which in returns make everything else look like shit when it's a play call. You got three receivers running routes. That means somebody somewhere is open. You just not scanning the field good enough to see it. You're not moving off of your first target in time enough to go to the next target.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with with what you're saying. I just don't know at this point what we can do. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Yeah,
the best thing to do. I don't really mean to be cutting you off or nothing, but we be talking, and I'm just saying the best thing to really do is to bench Tua and see what you got in something else, because the more we keep playing Tua is the more we keeping ourselves in that Ryan Tannehill situation. Like, you don't want to bench him because he's making too much money. You feel like he give us the best opportunity to win. How do you know he give us the best opportunity to win if nobody else is getting a fair chance at constructing this offense? If this is really an offense that is for every quarterback.
I don't feel like that's a realistic possibility right now. You're still in the playoff, right? You're still in
What
the
was you
playoff.
saying?
I said I don't think that's a realistic possibility right now. You're still in the playoff hunt.
I mean, but if we do sneak into the playoffs, it's going to 9 times out of 10, it's going to be one and done.
I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. But you can't.
It's an echo. Do I need to back out and come back in because of the echo?
Maybe.
Do I need to back out and come back in?
Is that better? Maybe. Oh, switch to my camera. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I gotta back out for a second. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can hear you. I was just talking about the little echo, but I don't hear the echo now, so it's good.
Yeah, but I don't feel like ownership's willing to, playoff games they mean money for the ownership.
No.
Mike McDaniel's trying to coach for his job. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get that. I get all of that. Right. Correct. I mean, you are right. You know what I'm saying? As long as playoff spots are still available, they're going to continue to fight for that. But, like, that's how you know the organization. Okay. I'm going to bring up a good example from yesterday. Remember when ACHANE scored that touchdown?
Yep.
So, tell me this. Now, maybe this just me because I'm old school and I believe in shit like this. But what was the point of him celebrating? Why didn't you just score the touchdown and take your ass back to the sideline and get ready for next series? Because what are we celebrating for? We got to lose a record. That just goes to show that this team is more about catching waves than doing the right thing. And just barely making a playoff spot is along that line of catching the wave than really earning your playoff spot. Because we need help from a lot of teams right now. And we haven't really earned anything if we need help, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you need help, you put yourself in a position that you don't control your own destiny.
And that's just all I'm coming from. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it may sound weird, but I'm the type of guy that I believe in football guys. And if you don't do right according to football, then you're not going to be able to progress in this game, which is the end goal, the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And I just feel like just trying to squeak past and get in just to say we did that, it's really going to hold us back because this team is really not ready for the playoffs, if that makes sense.
Well, I agree. This team, chances are, if they make the playoffs, they're one and done. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think there's a real chance that we make the playoffs. I think that every game we win is actually hurting us. I cheer for this team to win every Sunday, obviously. I want to see them win, but it's a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
But I think that management, I think ownership, I think Stephen Ross likes Mike McDaniel. I think he's a Mike McDaniel fan. I think he wants to see him succeed. He gave him a contract extension. You owe Tua Tagovailoa a bunch of money. I think they're continuing to hope that the old Tua shows up, because the old Tua, when he plays good, he's a good football player. Is he elite? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But when Tua plays good football and he's throwing the ball accurately and he's getting the ball out quickly, he can be a good quarterback.
So is you really watching the game, or is you just watching Tua? Because if he was really like you saying he was, It would have showed up yesterday. He would have put up more. Like Tua ain't even. We can just go ahead and say Tua did not score a touchdown yesterday. Like yesterday was the time for him to really step up. Not saying that the team is sorry because of their record. I'm just gonna say we went up against a weakened defense and didn't take advantage of it.
Well, I mean, that defense got some good players. I mean, if there's a strength to that defense or to that team, it's defense. Cam Jordan's not no slouch.
No, but he's older. So therefore, our younger players should have got the upper hand somewhere.
Listen, I'm not here to defend Tua. You know what I mean? I'm not here to defend Tua. I don't think but again, going back to what you said about ACHANE celebrating, I'm not angry that ACHANE celebrates after getting to the end zone. He puts in the work. He's the best player on this football team. I feel like he deserves that. He's given this team a lot this year. You know what I mean? If not for ACHANE, we might be winless.
Right. I mean, I'm like again, I know what I said. It sounded crazy, but I'm not taking anything away from ACHANE. I'm just saying it as far as, okay, I'm putting it to you like this. When you got a parent and you got a kid, which one is you looking towards to do the right thing? That parent or that kid?
Well, the parent, obviously.
All right, so that's what I'm saying about ACHANE right now. This organization is not really making these players recognize what's going on, because when we see them out there on the field, we see them wanting to have fun like kids. But yet and still the fans is taking this game seriously like adults. That's just where I'm coming from with that little dilemma. Like it just I'm not saying go ahead.
I mean, ACHAN's still young. He's a grown man, but I mean, he's one of the younger players in the league. Who's going to tell him that he can't celebrate or that he shouldn't celebrate? Nobody's going to want to play for an organization where you can't have fun after you make a play. You know what I mean?
Correct, but it's a way to do that. You know what I'm saying? ACHANE, we only won 4 games this year. While I respect your hard work, your energy, and your effort, score a touchdown and just come to the sideline right now, because our record does not show that we can be out here having fun. And that comes from upper management, head coach, GM, position coach, just little things like that. That's them who should be holding him accountable. Now, again, don't get it wrong. I ain't mad at him for celebrating, but when that's the only touchdown that we fucking scored in a team against a team that is subpar right now, you mean to tell me, man? Everybody could have been on. Darren Wallace should have been dancing because he scored. Waddle should have been dancing because he scored, and that's just my thing.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but I gotta disagree. I don't feel like you can you criticize ACHANE for celebrating when the guy's busting his ass for this football team.
But that just goes to show that this team is afraid to hold somebody accountable that is a top tier talent.
What do you do to him for that? Like
I just said, I know it sounds crazy, but it all comes back to discipline. It all comes back to discipline and understanding what's going on. Like I said, we got a losing record. Bro, should nobody be celebrating this year? And it seems like that's all this team want to do is get in the end zone, dance and celebrate, and not worry about nothing, which is cool when you winning, but when you got a losing record, man, it just leaves a bad taste in some people's mouth.
I mean, I don't want to shoot down how you feel. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's cool. You cool. I mean, I'm a grown man. I can take it. You speak your mind.
Because everybody has their opinions. You know what I mean? Like,
right, but see,
your opinion,
and your opinion is your opinion.
And I feel like he puts in the work. He's He's obviously gotten better year in and year out. He hasn't been hurt this year. He's improved his health. He's putting the work in off the field. He's doing what he needs to do to be one of the elite players in this league. He's made himself into one of the elite playmakers in this league. So when he makes a house call, I feel like he is deserving. What else does he get from it?
I mean,
no MVP votes. He's not, he's not highly paid right now. So for him to do a 2-second celebration, I don't think he went over the top with the celebration.
He didn't. He didn't.
You don't see him jumping up and doing crazy celebrations every time he gets a first down. He celebrates when he gets the touchdown, and he does it quick.
I mean, it's almost like how New England had everything orchestrated and set up. If they couldn't tear into Tom Brady's ass, then the whole team was not going to worry about nothing. And to me, that's just along the sentiments of what goes on behind closed doors or that organization. There's no one being held accountable, because for Tua to get up there at the podium and always say it starts with me every time we fucking lose or not have a good performance, it just goes to show he's not learning nothing.
And listen, I agree that we're at a junction. This franchise has to do something with the quarterback position, but you can't make me believe that Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers is a better option at quarterback right now than Tua Tagovailoa.
I mean, but you can't make me believe that Tua has really deserved his spot for me not to at least give him a fair shot.
Oh, you can question it all you want. It's fair to question, because I know that he's regressed this year. He absolutely has. I know that he leads the league in interceptions. I know that. I know he's performed poorly this year. I know that for a fact. I just don't have faith in Zach Wilson. I don't have faith in Quinn Ewers as a rookie quarterback. Listen, could they come in and light the world on fire? Absolutely. I just don't think that this Miami Dolphins team, in their current situation, Mike McDaniel fighting for his livelihood, his career, Tua Tagovailoa, who cares about what he's fighting for? He got the bag. But Stephen Ross does not want a losing season. And the Miami Dolphins still have an opportunity not to remain at status quo. Because even if we don't make the playoffs, if we get the 9 wins, we bypassed last year, and technically, it's not status quo. So technically, he can keep Mike McDaniel. Technically, he can make it so he keeps Tua Tagovailoa, since he owes him all that money still for at least one more season.
I mean, well, technically that doesn't do nothing but continue to put us in the middle of the pack, which that's where we've been for the last 20, 30 years, middle of the pack.
Well, yeah, and you're right. You're right about that. But I think with Tua's contract, whether you cut him, whether he plays next year, if you cut Tua Tagovailoa, I think we have a really bad year next year, because we're going to have to replace him with a quarterback that is not going to be very good. Let's be honest. You're probably going to try the draft one. You're not going to get one of the top prospects in the draft, because we've played ourselves out of that position. Let's say you sign a free agent. That free agent's probably not going to be better than what Tua is in this offense.
Hold on. What? Like, since you're sitting at your computer, can you pull up all the quarterbacks that's going to be a free agent next year? And let's see which quarterbacks Tua is really better than on that list. Because that's like saying Tua is almost the what? Round. Well, we always gave him top 20 in quarterbacks anyway. Top 15.
Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. Daniel Jones is going to get a contract extension with the Colts.
Yeah.
So your options are Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson. I'm taking Tua.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that right there. I could kind of agree. Yeah, with all the quarterbacks and free agency going to be, Tua is the best Well, that means Zach Wilson gonna still be a free agent, and I mean, but like I said yesterday, Zach Wilson, um, accuracy probably wouldn't have showed up yesterday, but all his other talents would have showed up. His ability to get out of the pocket and escape. Like, I get what you're saying by he hasn't unseated Tua, which, is kind of what I'm saying, what I be saying about Chop. It took for us to trade Jalen Phillips just for Chop to get some significant playing time this year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that. But then again, the way this team play favoritism, who's to say any of them had a fair shot at playing with the ones and actually showing that they can do it? Because I
Yeah, I
don't think
mean,
Zach Wilson really had a fair shot at really being the quarterback 1 or 2 for this team. It's just always being, this is what we're doing.
well, I mean, if you believe the people that sit there and watch training camp, if you believe the Omar Kellys, the poop arts, they're in and watching these practices every day. Yeah, they open up some of them to the fans, but every day these guys are watching practice, and they're telling you that these guys aren't very good at practice. They're telling you they're not very good. They're telling you that they're not outperforming Tua Tagovailoa.
I mean, but
I
they
mean,
also told me that Tua was good. He was smoking. And,
well, Tua usually is good when the pads aren't on, though. He doesn't have to worry about being hit. That's a big difference. You know what I mean? But at the same
huge.
time, if you think about it, Miller says, bench them, give these guys a week of preparation, give them a chance. Listen, you're thinking about it like a fan. You're not thinking about it like a business owner, a team a person that's running the NFL, a person that has their job on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
In a perfect world, you and I both know that this Dolphins team probably aren't making the playoffs, and if they do, they're probably one and done. But Mike McDaniel ain't trying to hear that shit. Mike McDaniel's trying to scrape together every win possible so he can keep his job.
I don't
You
know
know
now
what I mean?
because the way he chose to.
That's another story. He makes questionable calls that make us question whether he wants to keep his job or not. But
I mean, not as much as keep his job, but as much as he believe in the quarterback that he got. Because that 4th and 1 when he ran Ollie Gordon, he could have did a quick out or something with the tight end across the middle real quick. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's the double-edged sword right there. Because if he would have did that, would we not have criticized him for not running the football?
Yeah, we would have criticized him. But me, I would have looked at it. But me personally, I would have looked at it as he putting the ball in his best player's hand. He's looking for
his best player is ACHANE.
Exactly. That's what I'm really getting to. Like, if our best player is the running back, then everything is gonna go through him. Screens. That's why we run a lot of screens and everything, because Tua has not shown that he can put this team on his back. I mean, it's crazy because it always comes back to this quarterback position, and it's gonna always come back because no matter how many play calls might get scripted, it comes down to execution.
Well, yeah, Miller says, I'll take Mac Jones over Tua next season. But is Mac Jones going to take you to the promised land?
I mean, Mac Jones has also showed that he can make more throws than Tua.
I mean, Mac Jones has had one good season just like Tua's had. I feel like Tua's put together more positive games than Mac Jones has.
I mean, but the only way we feel like that is because Tua has got what Mac Jones didn't get, and that was a head coach that can tailor an offense around him. Like let's not forget how we looked at Daniel Jones as the scrub quarterback of the league, and this year he's changing his whole legacy around. He got the potential to really look like a decent quarterback come playoff time. Like that's just all I'm saying. Like, I know I say Tua can't win in this league, which in my opinion he can't. But the way he can win in this league is for the team to actually be built to protect him instead of lean on him. He just came to an organization that has to lean on their quarterback.
I just think either way you go, I feel like this year, next year are both years that you just continue to try to gather talent, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think with Tua's contract, whether you release him or whether you keep him, I don't think if you keep him, obviously we're limited because Tua's our quarterback, right? If you release him, you got to pay another quarterback plus Tua, and whatever quarterback you decide to pay, whether it's a Mac Jones or whoever, they're not elite. You don't have the salary cap room to put a bunch of playmakers around that player. So I think you go into this draft, you draft players. I would keep Mike McDaniel and Tua for the one final season. You find your general manager of the future. You let him draft best players available. You don't press the quarterback position. You let Tua, Mike McDaniel play out their final year in 26. And then after that, you hire a head coach. You let him pick his quarterback in the upcoming draft. You got three draft picks worth of 3 drafts worth of picks on your roster, young, talented players, and you got $200 million in cap room. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you on that though. I always been like, let's go ahead and keep Mike and Tua for another year. Go ahead and have another abysmal year and continue to build this team with talent because that's all we need. We need talent at each position in depth, just for the simple fact of injuries. Like we always complain about how injuries hurt this team, but yet and still we don't set ourselves up for I want to see what this player has and when someone goes down. You know what I mean?
and I don't think next year if we keep Tua and Mike McDaniel, it's automatic 3-win team. I mean, we started off slow this year. We've put together some wins, no matter how ugly they've been. The defense has started to play better. You add another group of draft picks. Hopefully, you get James back. Austin Jackson back.
It's gonna be ugly.
I would still, if Tyreek decides to play, I would see what that cap number, what type of money he's looking for, and I would give him a chance as long as it's not, he's not going to ask for crazy money.
That's if we bring ACHANE back. Like if we can't pay ACHANE and have to let him go, then
they're gonna pay ACHANE.
But see, and that's the thing though, when we pay him, like how much is he going to be looking for? Because he is making the Pro Bowl this year.
Oh, he gonna want 18 to 20 probably.
Oh man,
he's gonna be one of the higher paid players in football at the running back position. But I mean, he adds that element to the receiving game too. So I mean, at least he's a dual threat back.
Yeah, and I know this sounds risky, but I would let him test free agent just to see where other teams is going to pay him, because you can potentially get him cheaper than what you originally was going to pay for him. But this organization has trouble doing that. We did that with Christian Wilkins and it didn't work out.
Well, no, see, he's not due a contract this year. He's due one next year. So
okay.
We can offer him lower money this year because he can get new money now, or he can wait another year to get new money, and who knows what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows what injury he could suffer. So there's a good chance that he would take a lower offer because it's coming early. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Instead of hitting the open market where he's a year older, another year that he could have got injured. Who knows what happens in 2026? He can miss the whole season. God forbid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, this organization is not hip to getting ahead of the curve. They like to be behind the curve and then scramble about what they're gonna do.
Well, that's the beauty of replacing the general manager, right? Maybe we have new options ahead of us. Maybe this is a new day for the Miami Dolphins. We got to wait to see how it plays out.
I hope so too. And who was that? Lane Kiffman that I was bringing up for a potential head coach change.
Yeah.
I think he took the job at LSU. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, things gonna be looking real, tough for us, especially when it comes time if we looking for a new head coach.
Well, I was definitely a fan of Lane Kiffin. I thought that he could have been a possible head coach for the Miami Dolphins. But there's still names out there that I'm big on John Gruden. I think John Gruden really knows the quarterback position. You let John Gruden sit there and dissect these rookie quarterbacks. I think he can go out there and find you a rookie quarterback, and he's shown that he can win in this league. He's a no nonsense type of coach. I think John Gruden could do great things here in Miami.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. The only thing I would say about John Gruden is, will his pig-headedness overtake once he get rolling real good? Because he seemed like the type that once he get rolling real good, he can go off the Richter scale real quick.
Yeah, I don't know I know there was leaked emails. I don't really know what were said in those emails. I don't know too much about John Gruden as far as that goes, but I think he's one of the better options. I question what Mike McDaniel would look like with a quarterback that doesn't have limitations. But then Mike McDaniel does stuff like the end of the half yesterday, the questionable play calling, and then
I mean, but think about it though. If at the end of the half yesterday, would you really want to put the ball in Tua hands?
I don't think you necessarily want to put it, but why not put the ball in ACHANE's hands?
True, but
ACHANE can break one at any moment. He was knocking off 8-9 yard runs on a consistent basis. You could have did something small to him.
and I mean that part becomes a lot skeptical. But like I'm saying though, when you have a quarterback that you're iffy and so about, it's gonna make your whole play calling iffy and so. You know, it,
Yeah, just certain things that bug me about him. But yeah, listen, it's Victory Monday though. This is a lot of people don't want to celebrate the victories because they feel like it's a lost cause. But at the same time, it's always good to see the Dolphins win. I like to try to stay optimistic. I don't want to be too far left or too far right. Obviously, I have my reservations about this team and what the possibilities for this team are. But at the same time, who knows what's going to happen? This has been a wacky NFL season, to say the least. A lot of teams that look at the Bears are at the front of the NFC North. Detroit Lions have fallen off. The Eagles aren't looking great. The Chiefs they have a chance to miss the playoffs. Just a lot of wacky things going on. The Buffalo Bills falling behind the New England Patriots. Just a lot of things transpiring this year that make it a wacky year. And who knows if the Miami Dolphins somehow sneak in, anything can happen at that point. What's up, Cat in the Hat?
Yo, what's good? I can hear you now.
What's going on?
I don't know what was going on. I couldn't hear you. I had the stream open.
I'm not sure. What's your feelings on yesterday's game and the overall team outlook?
We have no chance beating the Steelers or the Bengals or even the Bucks playing like that. Like, our defense is doing what it needs to do, but our offense just can't produce enough, man. Like, we're not going to win out playing the way we played. Like, we just showed, like, yeah, we played down to our competition, but it's not going to be winning. It's not a winning solution, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we play this way against certain teams, we're not going to be able to win. But I think there's games that, I don't feel like Tua had the worst game ever yesterday. Was he off? Yes. You know what I mean? Can he play better? Yes. Can this offense be better? Yes. Can they score more points than they did yesterday? Yes. This defense was pretty good yesterday, but we were going up against a rookie quarterback with no they're missing the starting running back, Alvin Kamara. Not a very good team, right? So, but we have beat the Buffalo Bills. If not for 2 key fumbles against the Ravens, I feel like we would have been more. It would have been a closer game if not for 2 key fumbles against the Ravens. So, I mean, if you look at Pittsburgh's been up and down this year. Aaron Rodgers is beat up. I'm not going to say that's a guaranteed loss. Cincinnati, they're a different offense with Joe Burrow, but their defense is bad too. Do I think this team runs the table? No, I don't. I think I'm looking at that Tampa Bay game more than any other game as the game that I'm really questioning because Baker Mayfield's just a dog. And
And now with Carolina in the mix, like, it makes that game more scary because now it's more of a fight for Tampa Bay needing a win over the Dolphins in Week 17, whereas it could have been a situation where they already had their division locked down and a win there didn't really matter.
Yes, but Baker's dealing with injuries too. Like he take another hit to that shoulder. You never know.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's something I'm keeping an eye on for sure.
People are real beat up this time of the year. And then, of course, we finish out with the Patriots, which, I feel like we had the Patriots beat the first game. I think the Patriots are overrated. I'll give them their credit. Great turnaround. Mike Vrabel's done a great job. Drake May's done a great job. But I feel like they're overrated. I feel like they've got the easiest schedule in the NFL. Like I said, we almost beat them the first game. And there's a good chance that they're resting their starters that last week of the season.
I mean, every team turns out to be different from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Absolutely. But I would like to know, what have Tua really done this year to make you really think that when we go up against these weak defenses that he's going to be able to put up enough points to keep us in the game? Because we went up against a weak defense yesterday, and he didn't score no touchdowns.
Field goal.
And you're right. I think some of it has to do with Mike McDaniel's play calling being too reserved. I think Tua, obviously, I'm counting on Tua to be better.
So you want Mike McDaniel to call some play calls that Tua has no capability in executing?
I wouldn't say that he has no capability in executing. We've seen Tua execute before.
You know what I want? But we know
he's limited, though. We know he's limited. So what play call can he really call to dictate or to not put Tua in a vulnerable position?
What Mike McDaniel needs to start doing is realizing that he needs to revolve around the running game. He needs to implicate Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright more, because if you go back to that Buffalo game, you would see that all of our running backs had solid runs in that game. Every one of them. ACHANE had 18 runs. Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright had 9 runs. And we were dominant. And it didn't matter how Tua played. We were going to win that game no matter what, because our run game was being dominant and our defense was stopping the other team from scoring. Now, when he tries to sprinkle in a bunch of passing, doing too much with doing too much with Tua and not as much with our run game, that's where we're falling apart. So Mike McDaniel needs to forget about Tua. Just, yeah, he's a guy on the field. We could still win games with Tua there, but it's not because he's winning us the games. It's because our defense is keeping it low scoring and our run game is controlling the clock and scoring the points that we need to win.
So that means we got to come out at the beginning of the game and be on top. If we can't get an early lead, then that strategy right there, Cat in the Hat, is just
But that's
kind of
not
pointless.
necessarily true either, Ken. We've seen Devon ACHANE break 60-yard runs and no problem. It's just a matter of him getting a hole, him finding a hole. We could easily start developing holes with this 6 lineman package if we start using it for runs instead of just using it for passing plays.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. You know, I see where you're going with that. But, you know, like I'm saying, though, you know, the more time you take off the clock is the more need that you need to score that touchdown on that drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't hold the ball for at least 10 to 12 plays and get a field goal out of it. You know what
Right.
I'm
Well,
saying?
we just need to make sure that, like, that's what you said a minute ago. We need to come out and be hot in the beginning. We need to start off hot. We need to start off all these games hot, so we're not put in that position where we're relying on Tua to win us the game. Because how many times has he proven to us that when it comes down to crunch time and we need him to win us the game, he can't do it?
Yeah, he folds. He folds real quick. That's why I was, you know, that's why I was bringing up with these weak defenses about scoring, because you know the more pressure we put on Tua to score, the more he's gonna buckle. And like I've been saying all year, it's gonna come out. It might not be a high scoring shootout. It could be a low scoring shootout. But it's gonna come down to the fact that this offense is gonna need to score more than the opposing offense, because this defense is a bend but don't break defense. Now that don't necessarily mean they're gonna stop people from scoring, but it's just a bend but don't break defense. That's not the type of defense you need to win on playoff games. You need 3 and outs. You know, you need to have the defense stop the offense in good field position, so when they punt the ball, we're not in worse field position. You know?
Yeah, and like that's what worries me about the Steelers is like they have a really good defense to where they could hold us to under 20 points. Now, like, can we hold them to the same standard? Like that's what scares me about that game.
Is the Steelers defense that good though? I don't think that they
Yeah,
are.
I think it's one of the toughest defenses we've played so far this season.
I don't think the Steelers defense is ranked very high this year.
Right, but it's still it'll still be the toughest defense that the Dolphins have played this season, other than the Browns.
Well, the Ravens,
Name
I
a
think,
tougher
probably got the
defense.
better. I think the Ravens probably got a better defense.
No way, no way.
When healthy,
Yeah, but they weren't healthy when they played us.
they were healthy. They had just got healthy. Let me see. I think we need to stay ahead of the chains. I think where Mike McDaniel gets in trouble is throwing on first down instead of giving the ball to ACHANE, giving the ball to Gordon. You know, in that Buffalo Bills game, a lot of what they did in the backfield is they had ACHANE and Gordon in the backfield at the same time, and it was questionable which back they were giving the ball to, and I think they've gotten away from that a bit. I'd like to see that more. Of course, Austin Jackson, hopefully he only continues to get better. I noticed that they ran a lot more to the right side yesterday than normal because of Austin Jackson, I'm guessing. Putting Brunskill in the backfield, that's definitely helped the rushing game. But if you get Tua in third and fours, I mean, Tua can do great things with that, especially with Darren Waller back, getting Darren Waller more involved. What's up, Glenn?
Hey there. Hey, the question I have is there's people are saying that Jets defense is the best defense we will face.
The Jets?
Yeah.
No,
What
not.
defense were they talking about was the best defense?
The Steelers.
He just said the Steelers.
Oh, see. The Steelers have the same problems as the Jets, the Steelers, Cincinnati, and the Bucks. All have the same problem. They can't stop the run. So that's why we have a good shot to beat them if McDaniel stops going up, running the ball down the field, get down to the 20, and then throw it 3 times.
I
Well,
mean,
he didn't do that. He didn't do that in this last game. At one point, I remember because I was going to complain that I didn't like the call. We
No,
were on
he
a second.
did.
We were on a second
He,
and one, and we were in the red zone. I think we were in like the 15-yard line or something, and he runs a run play there. You're at a second and
no,
one in that situation. I feel like you have literally a free play to try and hit Darren Waller at the back of the end zone. And if you miss it, it sails out of the end zone, and then you do your run on 3rd and 1 and move on. So like there's moments where Mike McDaniel is still dropping the ball, because he could have easily taken a shot at the end zone there, and then ran the ball if he didn't complete it.
he actually, and this was towards the end of the game where he had to throw the ball 3 downs. We did turnovers on down, or not turnovers on down. We had to punt, and he didn't run it after we moved the ball a little bit. I think we were on the 30 or something like that. And then what crazy is it? And he's done this for the second week, where he should have punted it or kicked the field goal. They were at the 38-yard line. And yes, if you do not want to go for the field goal, because you're talking a 55-yard field goal
Well,
or what?
it was also raining at that point too, and it was like a drizzle.
Then punt the ball. Then punt the ball inside the 5 or go for the coffee corner. He's doing this stuff that's going to cost us games. And look what it did. People think that, going it on 4th and 2, 4th and 1, it's a great idea. Oh, yeah. Because the thing says, the metrics only say it if you make it work.
Well, you gotta,
Detroit lost the game. Detroit lost the game because they went twice on 4th
yeah,
and
no,
something.
I totally get you. And like last week, Detroit failed 4th down attempts, and that's the reason they lost last week as well. But it's just Mike McDaniel's just trying to keep up with the league, because that's just what the league's turning into. Like you can
yeah,
take
they're
a
not
look
going
around the
for it on
league,
fourth.
and
Yeah, they going for it
everybody's
on 4th
going for it
down.
on 4th down. Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I said that the
So
other day that Detroit is really hurting themselves going for it on 4th down, especially when they have opportunities to put points on the board and they're going for it and not getting. I think they're 0 for their last 8, and I feel like you can be over aggressive too. As far as the Pittsburgh Steelers defense we were talking about, right now they're 28th in total yards allowed, 28th in the NFL. They're 28th in passing yards allowed. They're 17th in rushing yards allowed, and 20th in scoring. So that defense is not great.
yeah, I mean, but it's like we've been saying though. It's gonna come down to Tua and this offense putting up points. That's all it's gonna come down to, because every offense we have faced, our defense let them get averaging almost 20 points a game.
What our
Yeah,
defense?
we even let the Saints put up 17 when their average was 15.
You see what I'm saying? So our average on defense is them scoring 20 points a game. We're gonna need at least what
24.
26, yeah, 24. Like that. Like that's just the average mark for this team right now. We are an offense heavy team, and should no way in the world we should be sitting here debating on which plays Mike McDaniel should have been calling or who should have been what. For the simple fact of all the money is put on the offensive side of this ball. So that's basically telling you no matter who has the ball, we should be getting some production.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree about the offense needs to be better, but I think that if obviously, if you can run the football, you can limit how many possessions another team has, which limits how many points they're able to score. Listen, if you limit another team to 5 possessions and you can stop them on 3 of those possessions or 2 of those possessions, even that the max points they can put up is 21.
Right, but you must score all them possessions that you stop them on. You
Yes, but
can't stop them and not score.
if we run the ball efficiently and Mike McDaniel can hopefully eliminate some of the bad play calling, and Tua had a bad game yesterday, but let's not pretend that Darren Waller couldn't have made that touchdown catch yesterday, right? You guys know what catch I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the end zone. That's points off the board, right?
I mean, yeah.
But
I
that's
mean,
the reason we lost, or almost lost.
Achan almost, that was a bad pass by Tua, but if Achan completes that, or if Tua completes that pass to Achan, the little, out and in that he does out the backfield, that would have been another touchdown. So the Miami Dolphins had opportunities. Do they got to capitalize on them? Yes, absolutely. But I think yesterday was a bad game for Tua. Was it a horrible game? No. But was it a bad game? Is Tua capable of playing better? Yes. Have we seen him play better than yesterday? Yes. Have we seen him play worse than yesterday? Yes. But we need Tua to be better.
So I think where that leaves us at right now as Dolphin fans, right? And the real question is do we need Tua, or do we feel like does Tua give us the best chance to win, or do we feel like we can do what we're doing and start evaluating our other quarterbacks?
I mean, if
Zach
we're gonna
chances or Ewers chances, is it still a matter of Tua gives us the best opportunity to win? Because I feel like Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers could have done what Tua did yesterday.
That's what I was about to say. It just comes down to the fact of what kind of offense we're going to continue to run. If we're going to run behind ACHANE, then I would like to see Quinn Ewers out there.
But that's
But
not
here's
real.
the thing.
That's not realistic.
Why isn't it though? Stephen
Because
Ross said himself. Stephen Ross said himself that the rest of this year is for evaluating.
You're talking about it as fans. You're not talking about it as Mike McDaniel, who has his career and his job on the line.
Bro, but that Steelers game and that Bengals game, along with that New England game, is going to put us out of the playoffs if we lose any one of them.
The only chance you got to see Quinn Ewers or
and what do you think happens if we lose to the Jets this week?
Then
I mean,
I will say this. Tua had one of his best games during the Jets.
And they will come out wanting to play spoilers. The Jets will come out wanting to play spoilers against us. They will have all the energy in the world.
Here's the thing. Tua gives us the best chance to win. Because he's had all the off season, he gets all the practice. You and them are not getting any practice time. They ain't getting no first team reps or nothing. It's all Tua and stuff. They might be playing on the scouting team or whatever, but they're not playing first team. So Tua gives us the best chance to win. But as soon as we're out the playoffs, then yeah, I'm gonna say as soon as there's no chance we can make the playoffs, which will probably be in about 2 weeks, because there's just too many games. There's teams are 7-4. They win a couple games. You're telling 3 of those teams are going to go like 2-3 and have a losing record the rest of the season.
But bro, if you think that we're out of the playoffs in 2 weeks, then we're already out of the playoffs. Why not start now? Why wait till 2 weeks until it's official? Why not be proactive?
Job's on the line.
Mike McDaniel's job is on the line, exactly. And I've already expressed this before. I feel like if he wants to save his job, he does make the change at quarterback and sees what he has. Because wins or losses, like, we're going to get him whether Tua's there at quarterback or not.
Yeah, but yesterday, Tua failed the team. Everybody else played except for Tua. He's the
So
only one that didn't.
so
He failed
does
the team.
anyone think that we can't have a situation like, now I ain't saying he's the world beater right now, but for him to have as less reps as he had leading all the way up to today, Shadur Sanders has came in and showed that, you know, skill and ability leads the forefront when you're just getting out there to play.
But you can see him that he thought that even with Shakir Sanders, you could see that his throws are not, they're off. They're not, timing is not there. The communication, the stuff with receivers
Glenn,
is still
people
not
can't hear you, Glenn.
But Glenn, it's looking better than it was, and that proves the point of what Ken was saying. Because if we look around the league, right? Let's look around the league. We're the only team, other than the Raiders, we're the only team that hasn't made a change at a bad quarterback. Every other team that has had bad quarterback play has made a change and done better. Not
because
extremely better, but they've done better than they were before. The Browns did it. The Giants did it. Look at Arizona. Of course, that was a forced hand there, but Brissett's doing better than Kyler. They may move off of Kyler now in the offseason. There's a couple others. The Cleveland Browns, like you've seen them cycle through 3 quarterbacks now. We're like the only team that hasn't made a change, that hasn't tried something.
That's all I'm saying. Like, you know, we sitting here just deeming that Tua gives us the better chance to win. When how do we know when we never really gave anybody an official chance?
Bro, do you not, let me ask you this. You don't think Mike McDaniel, with his job on the line, is sitting there every day in practice, and you think he's sitting there watching Quinn Ewers light it up at practice, or Zach Wilson light it up in practice, and he's refusing to play them when his job's on the line?
No, bro, that goes back to what I was saying though. Like, how do you not get, like, I feel like Zach Wilson was a signing to show everybody that Tua is a better quarterback. He
And
didn't
he
really, they didn't
obviously
really go get
has.
no real, but see what I'm saying is they didn't really go get no real competition. They went and got somebody that they knew was shitty just so they can prove their point about Tua is better. Like, I agree with you. Zach Wilson is not the savior. But at the end of the day, if you're going to go get a quarterback like a Zach Wilson, just so you can say Tua gives us a better chance, shows that, I mean, like, you're not giving nobody a real chance. You know what I'm saying? We could have signed anybody besides Zach Wilson. Come on. But they
Listen,
go after the Zach Wilson. That lets you know that this organization is still not right at this moment. But at
Right,
that
like what?
time, they were still in favor of Tua. It wasn't, I'm going to bring some competition in. Because just imagine if you would have brought some competition in for Tua. Don't you think that would have hurt his confidence? I mean, he was already complaining about the head coach hurting his confidence.
listen, we always knew they didn't want a quarterback controversy in Miami. That's why Skylar Thompson was the backup quarterback for so long. They didn't want that controversy. They were already dealing with it with the Tua haters. There's always, this fan base has been so split over Tua. Some people love him, some people hate him. Imagine having a competent backup quarterback on the roster that every time that Tua throws a bad pass, they're crying and calling for his job. They didn't want that. Chris Greer did not want that. He didn't want to have a competent backup.
They didn't want to win then because I was always told, you know, when you have, it's good to have controversy at the quarterback spot.
Of course, we all know that Chris Greer had an issue with admitting when he was wrong on draft picks, right? We know that he held on to Noah Igbenogany too long. Charles Harris. You know, we know that Liam Eichenberg. He's had an issue with just being like, listen, these guys ain't
Jerome
it.
Baker.
Yeah, these guys aren't it. He keeps them far too long.
And letting people like ABG go.
So, I mean, no, they didn't want quarterback controversy. And then what you're going to go bring in, I mean, who was really available? You know, you could have went and got Marcus Mariota, which I think would have been better than Zach Wilson.
I was about to say. We wouldn't have done a
Why weren't we knocking on the door for Aaron Rodgers? He wasn't an expensive. Like, we literally paid Zach Wilson $1 million less than Aaron Rodgers got.
We paid Zach Wilson double what Mac Jones got.
See?
And D-Dub says, Big C, you love Tua so much. I don't. Tua needs to be replaced. He does. But I'm telling you that they're not going to replace him.
He's playing the devil's advocate.
I don't think they're better than Tua. Is Tua the answer? No, he needs to be replaced. This team would be better without Tua, in my opinion. Is Tua the worst quarterback I've ever seen? No, he's not. He's just not. But is he limited in what he can do for this team? Yes. Again, I've been a Dolphins fan for a long time. I'm not questioning how long anybody else has been a Dolphins fan, but I've seen bad fucking quarterback play. I have.
I have too, bro. But you can tell me right here, right now, Matt Moore is a better quarterback than Tua, right?
Mac Jones?
Matt Moore.
Matt Moore?
Yes, Matt Moore.
Matt Moore was a good backup quarterback. Matt Moore wasn't a great starting quarterback, if that makes sense. Matt Moore come in and light it up for 2-3 games. Absolutely. He was a rocket launcher, he was a flamethrower, you know, a gunslinger. But you make him a starter for a year, he's going to struggle.
See, I think Tua is like an outlier here, Big C and Kenna. I think Tua is like an outlier, and he kind of like sits in his own category, right? Because when he came into the league, he did have potential to be a great quarterback. He really did. But unfortunately,
I don't think he did. I don't think he did have the
I don't think so neither.
He came in damaged products. He was a damaged product with a limited arm strength.
Either way, he did well. He did well. He was in MVP conversations. He showed that he could sling the rock. The problem with him is that he's regressing, right? And we're seeing it. We're watching it before our very eyes. And the regression is getting progressively worse game to game to game. And next season, by the end of next season, if he's still starting, we could be seeing like 2 interception games on the regular, like just bad reads, missed throws, like over the heads of receivers at the feet of running backs. Like,
Kat, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Kat. If the man is regressing right now as we speak, what makes you think he really had it coming into the league?
I mean, listen, you got to look at his career too. The bro suffered.
But what I'm saying is,
a rough first season getting started and benched, and then like suffered 4 concussions in the next 2 seasons. Like, he's got a lot going on up there. Like, it's not his fault. Like, I feel like it's not his fault. Like, he just wasn't built for the NFL. Unfortunately, it took a toll on him. He's regressing, and it's only going to get worse.
Right. So when you are built for something, when you are that guy, no matter what complications you come across, you always display that confidence that you are that guy. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, Tua could have been better. Tua could have been better what he's playing right now. What's the one thing that we know Tua's not good at? He's not good under pressure. When the game is on the line, he's not good.
He's not good at reading defenses neither.
When the game's on the line, he's not good. What's this whole season been laced with? Ever since Stephen Ross said the status quo is not gonna be good enough. When people were with the Tyreek Hill situation complaining about the football team and complaining about the quarterback not being available. This season was laced with pressure from the beginning, and Tua's felt it, and I think that's a lot to do with his regression. He's pressing too much. He's not just going out there and playing football. He's constantly thinking, is this my last game? What's going to happen? Is Mike McDaniel getting fired? Mike McDaniel's the only one that believes in me. I think that has a lot to do with it. As far as when he was coming into the league, Tua was damaged goods. We drafted Tua without a real in-life, in-body, in-person workout after he suffered a career-threatening injury. He suffered a hip injury that nobody was sure that he could come back from. He was already an undersized quarterback with limited arm strength. He was damaged goods from the beginning. We made the mistake. He came in. Brian Flores treated him like shit, which was a mistake. Mike McDaniel came in. Mike McDaniel believed in him. They gave him playmakers. Tua had some successful years, and then the injuries started piling up, and now the pressure is on him, and he's being who he's always been. He struggles with the pressure on the line, and he's limited physically. So what does that equal? Bad quarterback play. Y'all there?
Yeah. Mic
But
drop,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we here. We just ain't had no disagreements with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think people, someone said in the chat, Tua's the worst quarterback we've ever had. No, he's not. He's the best quarterback we've had since Dan Marino. He is.
Hell nah, don't say that.
He is.
Come on, Big C.
Look at the numbers. But
the numbers can also lie though. Men lie, women lie, numbers lie too.
Who's better? Who's been better?
I mean, I would say Ryan Tannehill has been better.
Listen,
Ryan Tannehill has more comeback victories in the fourth quarter than Tua ever will have.
That means he was losing more.
It does, but it also shows that Ryan Tannehill didn't buckle when pressure time came.
Listen, all right, I'll even give you Tua, but we're talking about Tannehill. We're talking about one quarterback in the last 25 years.
I mean, well, how many? Well, then again, never mind. I'm not gonna put my foot in my mouth when I say that shit.
Yeah, about 30, right?
Yeah, we done had a hell of a lot. I mean, but like I always said about Tua, as much as I harp on him, he would be a decent quarterback if he just learned how to read defenses.
See, you make asinine comments. CC says Cutler, Rosen. Like, come on. Josh Rosen was a better quarterback. Jay Cutler was a better quarterback. Come on.
Well, to be fair, we didn't really get to see what Josh Rosen was really all about.
No one did.
Josh Rosen wasn't about nothing. That's why there's a reason he never got on the field. And he did get on the field, but he was trash, garbage.
I got a funny story about Rosen. Actually, we went to Members Day the year he was on our team, and this is when they were still doing the training camps at the old facility, and only my kids could go get autographs on our helmets. See, me and my son, we have matching helmets that we've been collecting autographs on, and he was one of the dudes getting autographs. But I didn't want him to get autograph. I didn't want him to autograph my helmet, but he ended up autographing it anyway, so I had to rub it off my helmet.
Listen,
yeah, that's funny.
I think we're under the agreement that Tua's got to be replaced. I just don't know the best way to go about it. You can rip the Band-Aid off and we're going to be bad next year, or you keep them and we're not going to be very good next year. Regardless of what you do, chances are next year is going to be another wash year. I think 2027 is the year that we really have to aim at, and that's the year that this team could, start challenging for the division title again.
2008? 28, 29?
27, I'd say.
I ain't going to say 27.
I think with the draft picks from last year, they've shown, the draft picks from this year, you'll have the draft picks from 26. Hopefully after 26, you'll have a new quarterback, a new coach, and you'll have $200 million in cap space.
Oh, so you're talking about the year after next?
Yes, not next year, the year after.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it makes a big difference. Because I don't think next year we'll be ready. Because we're still going to be dealing with Tua next year, figuring out that. And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm on the boat that like, why don't we try something? Like, I know it's going to take one more loss before Mike McDaniel actually fully like switches off of Tua and starts evaluating the other quarterbacks. Like it's going to take us dropping off of that in the hunt graph that they always put up on the TVs and stuff. For
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel to make any kind of switch.
Well, we was
So
almost there last week. Well, Sunday. We was almost there Sunday.
yeah, we was almost there. So that's what I'm waiting for. I just want to see what we got in the guys in live action. Like practice it's not the same as actually playing the games. Like both sides of the balls knows the plays that are going on. Like it's very orchestrated and you can't get a real gauge of what Ewers could be capable of in an organized practice compared to an actual live gameplay, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. And I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying why it's not going to happen at this point. I'm not saying if we're eliminated from the playoffs and, Mike McDaniel gets pissed off by Tua one too many times that it doesn't happen. I'm all for it at the end of the season, but I'm telling you right now that while we're still technically alive, no matter whether you believe we can make a run or not, there's no way that they make that change.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I agree with that though. That is true.
Well,
That's
we're going
just,
to go into the
that's just
off
a fact.
season not knowing.
No,
Yeah, yeah. We most.
you're gonna go into the offseason knowing that the quarterbacks on this roster are not the quarterbacks for the future. You're gonna still get you a quarterback at some point.
But how do we know that these? Well, when I mainly speak like this, I'm talking about Quinn Ewers. To me the script is already out on Zach Wilson. So how do we really know that Quinn Ewers is not it though? Like, you know what I mean? Like he haven't
And
really
that's
been given a fair shot in the game.
and that's why I'm stressing on it because like we're going to go into this off season and into this draft not knowing if Quinn Ewers is a guy or not, and we're like so we don't have a real answer at quarterback. So that's going to probably be their main focus going into this draft. Although it should be next draft that quarterback is our main focus because we're still going to have to be dealing with the Tua contract, and like I don't think they're going to eat the money on that. I just don't think it's going to happen. We're going to be stuck with Tua for next year as well. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It
I agree.
baffles
I don't
me.
think they're gonna eat the money neither.
I want them to know. I
Chad
want them
Pennington
to
played one
know.
season with the Dolphins. He started one season, I'm pretty sure.
Who's that?
Chad Pennington. Then he start one season with the Dolphins. That's it.
Yeah, I think it was maybe two,
It was the
maybe.
season that they made the playoffs because Tom Brady got hurt, and that's the only reason we made the playoffs. But yeah, listen. If the season goes too badly, if the rest of this year goes too badly, we'll get a new head coach this year. That'll be another set of eyes on Quinn Ewers. If they think that Quinn Ewers has the ability to be a starting quarterback, then they'll rip the Band-Aid off with Tua. There ain't no rush to get rid of Tua or keep Tua next year, right? So
I
you can go
mean,
through a training
no.
camp, and if the new coach thinks that Quinn Ewers is better than Tua, you can be like, listen, he's better than Tua. Let's get Tua out of here. You know what I
But you
mean?
are in a rush to find his replacement, right?
No, because I think you've played yourself out of a top 10 pick in this year's draft, and this quarterback draft class doesn't seem to be great. Maybe you got
No,
one or two guys.
this isn't the QB draft class. That's why I was saying next year is when we want to draft the quarterback.
Yeah, but that in 27, but that's why I'm saying you got all of 26 to see if Quinn Ewers is good or not.
Yeah.
This ain't the rush year. This ain't the year that you know what I mean? People would like to think so, but again, even if you replace Tua with somebody else, we don't have the cap space to go out and sign significant free agents. We have a ton of holes on this football team. If you draft a quarterback, you're probably going to have to move up in the draft, which is going to cost us more draft picks that we could be adding players to this football team.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe what if Mike McDaniel? Okay, so what if Mike McDaniel is actually being very strategic in the fact that he's not getting rid of Tua and trying to make Tua have some good-looking games to possibly find a suitor
Well,
to
that's
want
got
to
to be
take
a
Tua
that's
in the
got to be a
offseason?
that's got to be an idea too, right? That's got to be a conversation. We need Tua to have some big games so he's attractive in a trade.
I mean, ideally that's best case scenario for the Miami Dolphins. Like, I would take a trade. I would trade Tua for Kyler Murray right now. Like, I know he's not a big upgrade, but he's a little bit better in my opinion. A little
I'm
bit
staying
more
away.
mobile.
I'm staying
Yeah,
away from Kyler
that's a
Murray.
hot take for sure. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's a route Mike McDaniel's taking. You know, maybe he is trying to make Tua look like somebody look reasonable for somebody to want to take in the offseason.
But who? Because the only people that we
I
can
don't
really
know,
look
bro.
at, only people we can really look at on that front is the Cardinals, the Saints. Maybe would Seattle be looking like that? What about
That depends on
Minnesota?
Sackman says the
Minnesota,
Broncos
maybe.
moved on. Sackman says the Broncos moved on from Wilson and his horrible contract. Why can't our idiot organization do the same? Well, first off, we're not in the same position. The Broncos already had a very good defense, like an elite defense, to be able to move on from Russell Wilson. Not to mention, that organization already had a Hall of Fame level coach, Sean Payton, at the very least, a Super Bowl winning coach in Sean Payton, hired and under contract. We don't have a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning coach on our football team. We don't have an elite defense right now.
And
So it is different.
can we also point out in that situation that they found a rookie quarterback that could take the reins with a Bo Nix? Like,
Well, not only that, Kenna.
Don't get me going on Bo Nix.
Not only that, Kenna, but they also had a lot of rookies on the rest of the team too. So they didn't have to pay. They didn't have a lot of contracts that they were paying like the Miami Dolphins do right now. Like we're not just in cap hell because of the quarterback. We're in cap hell because of a lot of contracts. We're still paying players that ain't even on the team.
I was about to say, isn't this our last year paying X, or we got next year?
I'm not sure if either this year or next.
You know, so yeah, man. I mean, that's the only thing that makes that situation sticky. But it's sticky, but it's still doable.
Oh, it's doable. It's doable. But how good of a? I mean, I think that's the. Listen, I think that's the best bet if you want to get a quarterback in 27, is to move on from McDaniel, move on from Tua, just lose 15, 16 games next year. That way you guarantee yourself the number 1 draft pick. You know, it'll suck next year. It'll be a shitty season. But I think that's the way you truly rebuild. Set yourself up to get the top quarterback in 2027.
That's what we need. That's what we need to do for sure. We need to do what the Jets did next year before trade deadline and somehow try and pull off a trade where we can get fucking multiple first-round picks, build up 6, 7 first-round picks, you know?
I mean, but that requires us getting rid of some of our star players.
Some of them.
So I think it just equals putting Zach Wilson at quarterback.
I mean,
or Ewers, either one.
Or continue to ride with Tua, because
Tua's gonna win you some games.
not really. Because if it wasn't for ACHANE this year, how many games would Tua really have won?
I think you're discounting some of Tua's plays. Like, do they beat Buffalo without that bomb to ACHANE in the back of the end zone?
That's my point. That's just what I said. Without ACHANE being right there, is that play possible with Tua?
I mean, he made the pass to Waddle, so ACHANE wasn't in that game.
And he also made another pass to Waddle last week that Waddle had to adjust his route to go get.
But ACHANE's the one that scares us, right? Because he's going to be ready for a payday next year, and is he going to be okay with tanking? You know what I mean?
I mean, but these was little entities that I was bringing in, Cat in the Hat, by saying that we should go ahead and kind of jump ahead of the curve and see about some trade possibilities for A-Chain, because yes, true, he is playing at Pro Bowl caliber this year. Is he going to want to continue to waste his career here, knowing that we're going through a whole rebuilding mode?
He's gonna take that contract. They're gonna offer him a contract early. He's gonna ask for more money after the season. Hopefully, the new general manager does the right thing and they give him a early extension, and we'll have ACHANE tied up for the next few years. I hate to cut you off, guys, but I've been on here a long time. My wife's giving me dirty looks, so I gotta breeze. Any final comments?
It's all good. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah, man. Fins up, baby.
Yeah, fins up. Everybody like, subscribe, comment, share. I appreciate you all. Victory Monday. Listen, we get into it. We discuss the Miami Dolphins. Whatever your opinion is about this franchise, let's just take another. Let's just put a smile on our face today. It's Victory Monday, and you know what it is. Fins up forever. I love y'all, and peace.
All right, have a good one.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Moving on the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. The fin smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.